cost will include these four things. First, the prevention, then the appraisal, and then the failure cost. Okay? Some of it we don't have to pay. Some of it, yes. Prevention cost, yes. Appraisal cost, yes. But if we pay a good prevention and appraisal cost, we don't have to pay for the failure cost. But if we do not invest well in the prevention and appraisal cost, we have to pay for the failure cost. And sometimes failure costs everything. Costs the company. Okay? Maybe that company produces several products, 9 or 10 products, but only one product that fails, they have to shut down the whole company. Okay? So be careful. Okay, bear in mind, write down if you have to, the equation, quality cost, what is it? Prevention, appraisal, and failure. Remember that. Because we are going to look at another confusing stuff. What is it? The visible cost and the invisible cost. Sometimes this visible cost is also in the prevention or in the appraisal, or both. Yeah. And it can be interchanged between each other. So we can divide this cost into visible and also invisible. Visible, we can see. Rejection cost, for example, means that you can see we produce a product but nobody wants to buy it. So it's rejection cost. Rework means that we have produced a product but it's not being produced to a certain quality that we want. So we need to alter it. We need to do some alteration. Kita perlu buat sedikit perubahan. Apa contoh? Contoh dia apa? Ayam yang kita goreng untuk masak, goreng hangit ataupun lebih goreng. Kalau kita bagi jamu orang makan, penjual makanan ayam tadi, orang akan rasa sangat. Dia apa dia buat? Dia rework. Dia boleh letak ayam tadi dalam masakan-masakan yang berkuah. Itu contoh rework. Contohnya contoh yang sangat simple. Okay. And then visible cost also goes to the cost of inspection. Inspection has to be done by a person, a human being, or a machine, a camera. And this human being or this camera, either they have to be paid or they have to be bought. That involve cost. Okay? Kita masak, kita nak tentukan masakan kita tadi jadi atau tak, kita hire seorang tukang rasa. Contoh lah kan, tukang rasa dia yang akan rasa. Ataupun kita buat produk burger, dan untuk kita pastikan burger tadi keluar tanpa ada debris, tanpa ada sebarang hazard, kita pun belilah kamera, kita pun belilah metal detector, kita pun belilah apa-apa detector yang boleh ada. So those are the cost of inspection. Kita nampak. So these three are visible cost yang nampak. The first one is rejection cost, nampak nak beli. Rework cost, we have to alter the product, we have to rework the product, and then inspection cost. What about the invisible cost? Cost yang kita tak nampak. We have to pay for it. Invisible. But we don't realize it. The first one is the loss of sale. Nobody wants to buy it. It's invisible because they don't pay it. Nobody will buy it. And then excess of inventory. Inventory means that we can only store 2 tons of the material at one time. But suddenly you have to put in store 4 tons or 3 tons. So we have to pay for the storage, isn't it? So excess inventory. We produce too much, or we produce it adequately, but it's not being sold. So it's stuck over there. So then it's a problem. the cost, they have to pay for that cost. Cost of storage, cost of delivery, excess inventory, orang tak sedar. Complain. Complain is very, very important and very, very hard to tackle. Because if one person complains, means that it's just not him or her. It will be a chain reaction. You will tell it to some other people, this company or this product is not good. Don't buy. Don't buy from that company. Even though he has a lot of good memories with that company, but then one situation or one event that actually pissed him off or her off, and then he berkerak rotan. He doesn't want to use that service from the company anymore, and then he will talk word of mouth, complaints. So they have to tackle it very well. But it's also one of the costs, invisible costs. You don't see it. And then investigation. They have some problem, okay, and then they have to go and investigate. It's also hidden cost. Then the fines. Those are also invisible costs because it's not being embedded in the original cost of production. And then legal fee. Sometimes legal fees you can put it in the visible cost. Okay? But here you can still say it as invisible cost. Boleh kita ada. We have several costs here. It can be a bit confusing. We have prevention costs, appraisal costs, and failure costs. And this has nothing to do with the visible cost at the moment. Okay? So now we have to go back to those four costs. Prevention cost and appraisal cost. And then failure cost. Prevention and appraisal costs are cost of conformance. Means that cost to make sure harga yang kita perlu bayar untuk pastikan produk kita baik. A cost that we have to pay to make sure that product is in good condition. Failure cost is the cost that you have to pay because the product is not at its spec, okay, or at its quality. Remember, the first one is the cost you have to pay to make sure it's a good quality. The second one is the cost that we have to pay because it's not as good quality. Difference, eh? The first one is before, the second one is after. And everybody wants to make sure you don't have the experience for the second one. Okay? And the spelling is wrong also. It's not external. It's external. It's not C, it's X. Mau yang dalam WebEx, okey kah? Bunyi semua? Okey. Saya dengar ini kawan-kawan saya kata. Dia kata dalam WebEx sound lebih clear. Tapi dia makan banyak data lah. Compare berbanding dengan dalam ini. Saya sendiri pun tak pernah berada di dalam ni sebagai audience. Saya pernah berada cuma di dalam WebEx sebagai audience. Pernah orang WebEx? Kalau Aidah ni maksudnya seorang duduk depan skrin ke dua orang dalam depan skrin? Aidah Osman, seorang ke depan skrin ke dua orang depan skrin?